What's up, guys? We are Tottenham TV here. We got another video for you today. Bit of news coming out of the club regarding players staying or leaving, regarding contracts being renewed, and a bit of transfer rumours as well that we're going to go through. So let's get into it. Before we get into that, I want to wish a massive happy birthday to my brother Ben Daniel, who's, you can see he's not with me right now because he's busy celebrating, but I want to wish a massive happy birthday to him today. He turns 30, so get on social media and Twitter and Instagram and give him all the love he deserves, because he's been committed to Spurs for a long time, home and away, and it's a big birthday for him. So happy birthday to my brother. But let's get into it. So we'll start with the news coming out of the club in regards to Michel Vorm. And as you can see, Michel Vorm, the club have announced that Michel Vorm will not be, his contract will not be renewed after spending 5 years at the club, pretty much as number two. Not a massive shock, but you know, he's been a good servant to the club. I think he's played pretty well whenever he's been called upon. He's not been a liability whatsoever, but he has been ousted from that position from Paulo Gazzaniga. So it was always likely that this could be his last season at Spurs, given Paulo's recent performances. And you know, he's done well. He's done well at Spurs. He's probably wants, you know, he's 35 now. Probably wants to see out his career being number one somewhere. He could easily get a spot maybe in another Premier League team. I wouldn't be surprised if someone snaps him up with a really good quality keeper. So it's going to be sad to see him leave, but just as I'm making this video as well, it's just been announced, breaking news on Sky Sports News, as you can see here. Fernando Llorente has also been released from his contract at Tottenham, so he will not be a Tottenham player next season, which is I've got, you know, mixed feelings about. I think he's been a very good player, especially this season for us. I think he was brought in as a backup striker to kind of give us that plan B, that another option that we needed off the bench. And I think he did a pretty effective job of that. Got 8 goals and 5 assists, you know, as a backup striker for Spurs. And who can forget his really important contributions in our Champions League run, in the group stages against PSV, against Dortmund scoring, against Man City, and against Ajax changing the game in that second half. So I think he goes with a lot of love from Tottenham fans, I feel. I think he did a really good job for 2 years. I mean, his first year was a lot less successful than his second year, but I feel like he, at the end of the day, he worked hard for the team. He was brought in as a backup striker to provide that plan B, and I think he did his job. He did his job well. I wouldn't be against keeping him on for another year as maybe third choice striker. I think maybe second choice is a bit much for him because of Kane's injuries. He gets a lot of playing time, but then again we have Son for that. I was not against keeping him on for another year as a good plan B, but Pochettino's clearly taken the option to release him. He is on 100 grand a week, which is a lot for a player who's 34 and doesn't play a lot of game time. So I guess it'll be good to get that off the wage bill. Maybe future signings, you know, it could impact that. Maybe get more wages. But Fernando, it's been a pleasure having you at Spurs. Good luck in the future. Hopefully you get a good club. Maybe he'll go back to Spain or whatnot and have a nice little swan song. But there you have it. He will not be at Spurs next season, so Paulo is now undisputed number 2 keeper with Michel Vorm leaving. There's a few people on social media wondering why, given that Tottenham were announcing contract renewals, because what the most interesting point about this factor about this kind of thing was that what Tottenham didn't announce is that Llorente, they didn't say anything about Llorente, so it got people speculating whether that means he's going to be at Spurs next season. From what I gather, Michel Vorm's contract ran out today, which is why he's been released, and Llorente's contract runs out at the end of the month. So at the end of the month. So from what I understand, Llorente's any announcement on Llorente will happen at the end of the month. So it's not to jump the gun and assume he's now going to be staying. Another bit of news, though, coming out of the club is that Tottenham have completed the signing of Kion Etete from Notts County, a 17-year-old striker who's going to obviously join our academy, which was announced here. You can see it on the Notts County website as well. Young forward joins the Champions League finalists. He had a trial at Hotspur earlier this year, impressing sufficiently to attract a bid from the Champions League finalists. I heard he scored 2 goals against West Ham in a trial game, so he's already on a good start from him. So maybe he's one to look forward to in the future. Kion Etete joining the Spurs academy, so watch out for him. I don't know too much about him. I'm not going to be on it. I'm not going to lie, but if we've kind of snapped him up from the lower leagues, it's not the first. Won't be the first time we've had success in that area. So that's something to look forward to. But Tottenham getting one signing in early. Is that counts as a signing? I'm not really sure. Not quite. A 17-year-old. I think Spurs fans want a bit more than that. But more news, more transfer news today coming out of Fulham, which is going to probably relate to us, is that Ryan Sessegnon. He has rejected a new contract at Fulham following their relegation last season back to the Championship. It says here, Ryan Sessegnon has told Fulham he will not be signing a new contract offered to him by the club. This is according to Sky Sports News. They said in May, Sky Sports reported that Man United made an approach, but it's known, I think it's well known, common knowledge, that Ryan Sessegnon prefers a move to Tottenham. So this will strengthen obviously our position if we're going to make a move for Ryan Sessegnon. I think that it'll be a good move. He's a young player, 19. He ripped up in the Championship when he was 16. So he's been playing a lot of football the past 3 years, even though he is not even 20 yet. Bit of debate what his best position is, whether it's a left back or it's in the midfield on the wing. He remains to be seen. I think some people are saying that Spurs will sign him and then convert him. Will sign him and play him in on the wing to start off with, then convert him into left back in the long term. Some people are saying he's going to be understudy to Rose, or even take over Rose. It's going to be interesting. He made over 100 league appearances for Fulham, including 35 in the Premier League over the past season when they were relegated. Spurs, though, are not inclined to pay more than 25 million, and they know that Fulham will face the disastrous prospect of losing Sessegnon for only training costs if they did not do business now. So I gather that's because Ryan Sessegnon, his contract runs out, I think, next season. So if Fulham want to get a deal done, they risk losing one of 3 next season. I believe that's what they're referring to. I think he would be a good signing. I think he would be he would come straight into the squad, and I think he has a lot of potential. But what that means for our midfield, what that means for someone like Danny Rose, who reportedly we want to give a new contract to now after his brilliant end to the season. I think we're not desperate for Sessegnon. I think he would be a good signing. But I wouldn't want his arrival to kind of take away any funds from any bigger signings in more key areas that we need this season. If we were to wait another year and get Sessegnon on a free, that wouldn't be the end of the world for me. I think the only worry would be someone else would poach him if we don't sign him this summer. He says his preferred destination is Spurs. I would like him at Tottenham. I think he would be a good left back, or I think that's where he would play, because I don't think he's quite good enough to be starting in our midfield. So he'd be coming from left back, and we obviously have Davis and Danny Rose there. Maybe it would mean Davis would be moved on. It'd be a good question, but let us know in the comments below. Do you think Spurs should go all out for Ryan Sessegnon? Do you think we should be patient with him, maybe wait a year, see him run his contract down? Or do you think we should go full 45 million this summer? As apparently that's what Fulham want. Let us know in the comments below. But more transfer news coming out of Portugal. And this is a Portuguese publication. They're called, as you can see, they're called Record. Now, this is in Portuguese. Let's see if we can get a translation. Here we go. Let's Google Translate that. They're a Portuguese publication. I'm not sure how well renowned they are in Portugal. This is revolved around Bruno Fernandes, who's really lit up the Portuguese league this season. He's an attacking midfielder. It says Bruno Fernandes very close to Tottenham. Miguel Pinho, who is the agent of Bruno Fernandes, says met with the Londoners. Who are going to submit a bid, and he says that reportedly, we don't have the rest of the article, but reportedly he says that Tottenham are very close to agreeing a deal for Bruno Fernandes. Now, there's it's obviously very early stages, and I gather there's another Portuguese publication saying that Man United have steamed ahead of Tottenham, so it's only rumours at this stage. But I think Bruno Fernandes would be a good signing. Whether that would affect any other deals for like Lo Celso or Ndombele remains to be seen. I think Bruno Fernandes is more of he's kind of like the Portuguese Frank Lampard kind of player. He scored, if we go to his stats last season, he mostly plays in the attacking midfield role, as you can see there. Last season in the league, 28 appearances in that attacking midfield role. So he's definitely more forward thinking than someone like Lo Celso, who's I think operates more as a box-to-box kind of player, albeit a more attacking one. But he scored 20 league goals last season. Bruno Fernandes, he really knows where the net is. He scored a lot of goals I've seen from outside the box. He also got 14 assists. So this guy really knows how to make a contribution in the final third, albeit it was the Portuguese league. There always comes with a bit of a caveat, given it was the Portuguese league, but he knows where the goal is. 20 goals and 14 assists is an outrageous return for a midfielder. So I think he would be someone to really look into. I think he's starting for Portugal in the Nations League. I think he's highly thought of. He's quite young still. I think only 23 years old. So I think it's someone who we should be seriously looking at. There's obviously rumours also Nabil Fekir that we were going to be in for him, but there's no real publications reporting anything close there. But yeah, so Arsenal, how much would he cost you? I mean, there are rumours that even Man City had agreed a deal early in the summer for him, but I think he'd probably cost upwards of 60 million. Could I see us signing Bruno Fernandes, Lo Celso and Ndombele? That's a big ask. I can't see us signing all three. I can probably see 2 out of the 3 at most. This guy, Bruno Fernandes, clearly a direct replacement for Christian Eriksen. If he was to leave, I think he's the kind of player we'll be looking at to replace him. I wouldn't be against it. As I said, he scored a lot of goals. I think he could potentially be a very good signing for Spurs. It's the kind of deal that we like to look at. A cheap, not cheap, but a player in a foreign league who is attainable, who probably would want to move to an up-and-coming team. He knows he's going to get a lot of playing time at Spurs if he comes. So let's see how that one pans out. It's going to be very interesting to see if, because obviously rumours are hotting up about Lo Celso. He's determined to come to Tottenham. If we sign Lo Celso or if we sign Bruno Fernandes, what kind of position they're going to fill in? Because could we sign Lo Celso and Fernandes and play Lo Celso a bit deeper? Would that mean we're not going to be pursuing Ndombele, who I know a lot of our fans are very determined to bring to Spurs, and I think he'd be a great signing as well. I think he's the kind of player who we're crying out for. So interesting transfer news from Bruno Fernandes. The one rumour, which is a bit from left field, this is coming from The Sun. It says, Dan for Digne, Everton will demand Danny Rose and cash if Spurs try and sign Lucas Digne in the summer. Lucas Digne, who is actually the half-brother of Gerard Deulofeu, believe it or not, which is an interesting fact. He plays left-back for Everton. He had a really good season for Everton, actually. I was really impressed with his performances. He's 25 years old. He's a French left-back. He's got a really nice left foot, and he's got good technique. He takes free kicks. He's got a decent long shot, and he's a very good crosser of the ball. But given Danny Rose's resurgence at the end of the season, does that negate a need to kind of even go for a full-back? I think Danny Rose, we saw the best of Danny Rose at the end of last season. I think he really started to get back to his best, especially in his performances in the Champions League. Lucas Digne, he got 4 goals and 5 assists from left-back for Everton last season, which is a really good return. He's a French international. He's younger than Danny Rose. So maybe, and we all know how Pochettino, whenever he gets a fullback, he improves them immeasurably. Every single time we've signed a fullback, they've really taken on another level, and so he really knows how to coach fullbacks really well and really effectively. So could Lucas Digne come to Spurs and really become one of the best left backs in the league? He showed last season what potential he has, but I think the uptick in performances from Danny Rose at the end of last season, and the fact that the rumours of flying around, we're going to give him a new contract, probably means that this deal is dead in the water. It's probably not going to be a non-starter, and I can't see Everton taking Ben Davies instead of Danny Rose for Lucas Digne. So that one is that. All right, so those are your transfer news. that was a bit of an update as well on the players staying and leaving. Let us know in the comments below. Ryan Sessegnon, how much would you pay for him? How much would you push Spurs? Bruno Fernandes, are you excited about a potential transfer from him to Spurs? Would you prefer Lo Celso to him if it meant not signing Bruno Fernandes, or even Ndombele? How do you see that playing out? Could you see us signing 3 players if we let Eriksen go? Let us know in the comments below. And would you swap Digne for Danny Rose? Would that be a possibility for you? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, come on you Spurs.